Welcome to Spoken English TV. Are you ready to speak English with confidence? Make sure to watch this video till the end. And if you find it helpful, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow along with all the videos for the next 3 months and you'll notice a remarkable improvement in your English skills. Now let's get started.
Hey Ananya, what's up? You seem a little lost in your phone there. Something exciting?
Oh, hey, Aryan. Nah, just catching up on some news. It's all about tech these days. Everything from how technology is changing our lives to what new gadgets are coming out. It's impossible to escape it, right?
True. Tech is everywhere. I was actually thinking about that earlier today. You know, we've come so far in the last few years. I mean, look at how much technology has changed India in just a decade. Remember when we didn't have 4G everywhere?
Oh, absolutely. I remember when 3G was still a big deal. And people were like, wow, 3G is here. The internet is going to be faster. And now we can stream high-definition movies in seconds. It's crazy to think how far we've come.
Exactly. Back then I used to get frustrated with the internet speed and now I can't even imagine living without it. It's like my whole life is on my phone now. Work, entertainment, shopping, everything.
I get you. But hey, let's not forget, this fast internet is also what's enabling so many other things. Social media, online learning, online shopping. They all run on the back of better connectivity. It's almost impossible to imagine living without these services now.
That's true. But you know, while I agree that technology has made life so much easier, sometimes I wonder if it has also made us too dependent on it. Like, I know people who can't survive a day without checking their social media or emails. You know, the whole screen addiction thing.
Yeah, I see that too. People have become glued to their phones, even when they're in a group of people. But I think it's more about how we use technology. Sure, it can become addictive, but it's also a tool. It depends on how we use it. We can use it for good or let it control us.
True, it's about finding that balance, right? But don't you think that for a lot of people, especially in India, technology has become a lifeline in many ways? Like, look at all the rural areas where people are now using smartphones for things they couldn't do before.
Exactly, and that's something I find really amazing. Technology is no longer limited to the cities. It's reaching villages, small towns, and people who never had access to the internet or smartphones. With something as simple as a smartphone, people in rural India can access government services, online education, and even healthcare.
Yeah, I read about that. There are these apps that help farmers with weather updates, farming tips, and even connect them with buyers for their crops. That's a huge deal when you think about it. It's like technology is leveling the playing field.
Right. And speaking of apps, look at how mobile banking has taken off in India. Digital wallets, UPI payments, all of this has made financial transactions so much easier, especially for people in small towns who might not have had access to traditional banking before.
I've personally started using UPI for almost everything now. Buying groceries, paying bills, even donating to charity. It's such a convenient system. And what's even better is that it's not just limited to the wealthy or tech savvy. It's for everyone.
Exactly. The way UPI and mobile wallets have empowered people, it's like opening up a whole new world. And you know, with initiatives like Digital India, the government is also pushing for greater digitization of services. So it's not just about tech companies, it's also about the government using tech to bring about change.
I've heard of Digital India, but tell me more about how it's actually helping people.
So Digital India is this huge initiative by the government to provide internet access to every corner of India. It's about making sure that even the most remote places have access to government services online, so people don't have to travel miles to get simple things done. Things like applying for a passport, filling out forms, or even checking your voting status. It's all online now.
That sounds incredible. I never realized the extent of it. It's one thing to have fast internet in cities, but bringing it to remote villages is game changing. I guess it's like making India more connected as a country, not just in a few places.
Exactly. And it's not just about convenience, it's about empowerment. People can now apply for loans, file taxes, or even learn new skills online. Technology is giving people more opportunities than ever before.
That's powerful. But with all this tech coming in, there are still challenges. Like, not everyone knows how to use it effectively. I've seen older people struggle with even basic tasks like online banking or checking their social media.
You're right, the digital divide is real. Some people in rural areas or from lower income backgrounds don't have the skills or resources to access or use technology properly. And even though we've made huge strides in the last decade, there's still a lot of work to do.
It's all about making sure no one is left behind. I think the government and tech companies need to focus more on digital literacy. People need to be taught how to use the internet safely, how to access services, and even how to protect their personal information online.
Yes, that's a major issue. There's also the problem of internet accessibility. While cities have great internet coverage, rural areas still struggle with low speed connections or no connectivity at all. And this limits the potential that technology can have in those areas.
It's funny, sometimes we take things like Wi-Fi and data plans for granted, but for a lot of people, that's not even an option. And without it, you can't access anything, the internet, education, even healthcare.
It's a huge issue, and that's why initiatives like BharatNet are so important. BharatNet is an initiative to provide high-speed internet to rural India, and it's a step towards bridging that digital divide. But there's still a lot of work left to do.
Yeah, I get it. But Ananya, despite these challenges, I'm still really optimistic about where India is headed with all this tech. We have so many young people embracing it and using it to make a difference. Just think about the startup culture in India. It's booming.
Absolutely. India is now one of the largest startup ecosystems in the world. Young entrepreneurs are creating apps and tech solutions that cater to local needs. Whether it's edtech, health tech, or fintech, the future looks promising. These startups are bringing in fresh ideas that can really transform the country.
And it's not just about big cities anymore. These startups are popping up everywhere, even in smaller towns and cities. It's like the tech revolution is reaching every corner of India.
Exactly. Take something like Byju's, the edtech giant. It started with a few ideas and a small team, and now it's helping millions of students across India with online learning. The fact that tech is being used to make education more accessible is amazing.
Yeah, I've seen ads for BYGUs all over the place. They're really making a mark. But you're right, it's not just education. Tech is even changing healthcare in India. Look at telemedicine. People in remote villages can now consult with doctors over a video call.
Exactly. Telemedicine has been a lifesaver, especially during the pandemic. It has made healthcare more accessible for people in rural areas where there might not be many doctors. Now anyone can get a consultation from the comfort of their own home.
Wow, so much to think about. Technology is really a game changer, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But like with everything, we need to be cautious. We can't just embrace technology blindly. We have to think about its impact on society, privacy, and how it affects our mental and emotional well-being.
You're absolutely right. I mean, while technology is changing lives for the better in many ways, there are also concerns like data privacy. People share so much personal information online these days, whether it's on social media or while shopping. It feels like our privacy is at risk more than ever.
That's a major issue, and it's something that we need to be more aware of. Think about how many of us just click I agree without even reading the terms and conditions. All that data, from our searches to our purchases, is being collected and used in ways we might not even realize.
And sometimes it's even worse when people's data gets leaked, like those big data breaches we keep hearing about. It's scary. I mean, you don't want your personal details, your bank information, or your photos getting into the wrong hands.
It's definitely a risk. That's why tech companies and governments need to make stricter laws to protect people's data. In India, we're still working on better data protection laws, but we've come a long way with the Data Protection Bill. It's a start, but we need more awareness among people on how to protect their information online.
The data protection bill, huh? I've heard about it, but I'm not really clear on what it's about. Could you explain a bit more?
Of course! The Data Protection Bill is a law that aims to protect personal data and ensure that individuals' privacy is safeguarded. It's based on principles like data minimization, transparency, and accountability. Basically, it gives people more control over their data, and it forces companies to be transparent about how they collect, store, and use it. It's like a legal framework to ensure that tech companies are not just collecting data for the sake of it, but using it responsibly.
That sounds really important, especially when you think about how much of our lives are online. I didn't realize there was an effort to make sure our data is being protected. But at the same time, I can see how tech companies might try to find loopholes around such laws to keep their business going.
You're right, Aryan. There's always that risk, but that's why we need constant regulation and updates to these laws. Tech is always evolving, and so are the ways companies collect and use data. So it's a cat and mouse game between tech innovation and data protection.
I guess in the end, it's up to us too, as individuals, to stay informed and make smart choices. Like, I've started to turn off location tracking on apps unless I absolutely need them. And I try to avoid oversharing personal stuff on social media.
That's a good start, Aryan. We all have to be mindful of what we share and how we use technology. But it's not just about privacy concerns, right? It's also about our mental well-being. Technology, especially social media, can sometimes mess with our heads. People are constantly comparing themselves, trying to keep up with the perfect lifestyle others are showing online.
Oh, absolutely. It's like everyone's posting their best moments, and it can make you feel like you're falling behind or not doing enough. You know, like the whole fear of missing out or FOMO thing. It's exhausting.
Yes, exactly. And the worst part is that social media, as much as it can connect us, can also isolate us. It's weird, right? You could have hundreds of friends on Facebook or Instagram, but sometimes feel lonelier than ever.
Yeah, I get that. I've been there. It's like you start scrolling through your feed and you end up comparing your life to others. And then you forget to live in the moment, to enjoy what you have. It's like a never-ending cycle of wanting more.
That's the trap, isn't it? Social media is designed to keep you hooked, to keep you scrolling. It's all about the likes, the followers, and the validation. But in the process, we forget about what really matters. Our real relationships and our own happiness.
I guess that's why it's important to take breaks from it, right? Sometimes it's okay to just disconnect, live in the real world, and focus on things that bring us true joy, like spending time with family, reading a book, or just taking a walk outside.
Exactly, and that's something I try to do. I make sure to set boundaries, like no phone during meals or no social media before bedtime. It helps me stay grounded and avoid getting lost in the virtual world. It's all about balance.
That's a good way to put it. Balance. Technology is amazing, no doubt. But it's also about knowing when to take a step back and make sure it doesn't take over our lives.
Yeah, technology should enhance our lives, not control them. We need to be the ones in control. And we should also remember that it's not just about using tech for convenience or entertainment. It's about using it responsibly, for learning, for growth, and to connect with others in meaningful ways.
I agree, and I think that's the most important thing. If we use technology mindfully and responsibly, it can truly help us build a better society.
Absolutely. And I'm hopeful, Aryan. India is growing, adapting, and embracing technology in ways we never thought possible. But as we move forward, we just have to make sure that we're using it wisely and keeping our humanity intact.
Well said, Ananya. I think this is a conversation we need to have more often. Not just about how cool the tech is, but about how we can use it to make life better for everyone. After all, technology is only as good as the people who use it.
You couldn't have said it better? And who knows? Maybe we'll be the ones making a difference with the tech we're using today.
I like that idea. Let's make sure we do our part. Thanks for the chat, Ananya. I've learned a lot today.
Anytime, Aryan. Let's keep having these conversations. It's always good to think critically about the tech we use every day. Catch you later.
Yeah, definitely. Take care, Ananya.